The stars hung like scattered diamonds across the black sky as the small human outpost on Zareth hummed with quiet activity. It was a lonely place at the edge of the Andros cluster, where humans rarely ventured and alien patrols were few but careful. Captain Nathan Hale leaned on the railing of the observation deck, his eyes scanning the distant nebulae. For years he had believed humanity was small and unremarkable in the galaxy, yet here he was, about to witness something that could change that forever. The transport ship shuddered as it approached the landing pad. Inside, the air was tense, filled with anticipation. Hale had been briefed but could not prepare for what he was about to see. The so-called widow was no ordinary being. The alien council had sentenced her to humanity as punishment, hoping that she would be humiliated among humans. Their plan was cruel in its subtlety. They believed she would be bored, powerless, and frustrated. The airlock hissed open and a figure stepped out. She was tall, elegant, and moved with precision that was almost unnatural. Her hair, dark and straight, fell past her shoulders, framing a face that was beautiful but unreadable. Her eyes, sharp and calculating, scanned the outpost as if measuring every angle, every weakness. There was no fear in her gaze, only a quiet intensity. She was the widow, and she was meant to punish humanity by showing them what they could never be. Nathan walked toward her, keeping his voice calm. "Welcome to Zareth. I'm Captain Nathan Hale. I'll be assisting you during your stay." The widow's eyes flicked to him, a slight arch of her brow the only sign of acknowledgement. She did not smile. "Captain Hale," she said, her voice smooth and controlled, yet with a subtle undercurrent of power. "I am aware of your existence. Let us proceed." From the beginning, it was clear that her presence disrupted the usual rhythm of the outpost. Crew members whispered in hallways, curious and wary. The widow observed everything with unblinking eyes, and her sharpness made them uncomfortable. Even Nathan felt the weight of her scrutiny. She noticed every detail, the arrangement of supplies, the worn edges of control panels, the way humans moved with inefficiency. Yet she said nothing, only watched, waiting. Early interactions were tense. Nathan introduced her to the outpost, showing her the limited facilities and explaining the human methods of communication and operation. She listened, nodding occasionally, but her expressions betrayed little understanding. Sometimes she would pick up a device or tool and manipulate it in ways no human had considered, making the crew gasp quietly. She was not trying to impress them. This was instinct, skill honed over years in a far more advanced and dangerous environment than any human had known. Hale had to admit privately that she was remarkable. But he reminded himself that she was still a stranger, still an outsider. Humans were unpredictable and emotional, and he doubted that even her intelligence could easily navigate such chaos. The first test came sooner than expected. A sudden alert flashed on the communications console. A group of space marauders, unauthorized but well-armed, had entered the outer sector of Zareth. Their intent was unclear, but their presence was threatening. Nathan felt a familiar rush of adrenaline. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but this was a scenario the outpost faced occasionally. He assumed it would be a straightforward defense, but the widow's reaction surprised him. She did not hesitate. "Prepare the perimeter," she commanded, her voice sharp. The humans froze for a moment. Her authority was instant and absolute. "Deploy the energy nets and mark the escape routes." "They will not anticipate what comes next." Nathan blinked. She was giving orders, precise and strategic, that far exceeded human military protocol. He found himself following them, directing his team with her guidance. When the marauders attacked, they were met not with the disorganized defense Nathan expected, but with a coordinated counter. The widow anticipated every move, predicting the marauders' tactics and turning them against each other. Humans had survived many attacks, but this was unlike anything they had faced. By the time the battle ended, the marauders retreated, beaten and confused. The outpost had sustained minor damage, but the humans were alive. Hale looked at the widow, realizing that the punishment intended to humiliate her had failed spectacularly. She had turned their weakness into strength. Over the following days, the widow began to learn about humans. She observed their customs, their social habits, and their emotions. At first, she treated these things as curiosities, sometimes reacting with blunt honesty that startled the crew. She questioned why humans made decisions based on fear, anger, or hope rather than logic. She noted their inefficiencies and their mistakes, but gradually she began to adapt, learning to anticipate human behavior while teaching humans to anticipate hers. Nathan was her primary guide. He found himself teaching her more than she taught him. He explained the nuances of human communication, the subtleties of humor, and the ways humans express trust and loyalty. She listened, sometimes with impatience, sometimes with fascination, absorbing everything like a student who was also a teacher. He began to see moments of vulnerability in her eyes, brief flickers of something human, though she would never admit it. The bond between them grew quietly. It was not romance, not yet, but a connection forged in shared danger and mutual respect. Nathan admired her courage and intelligence. She respected his patience and adaptability. Together they formed a team stronger than either could have been alone. Their partnership was tested again when an unexpected problem arose. A rare Zerithian storm, the kind that could destroy the entire outpost if unprepared, approached rapidly. Nathan and the widow coordinated emergency measures. She devised protective barriers and diversion channels, combining alien technology with human resourcefulness. The storm struck with violent intensity, tearing at the walls and hurling debris across the outpost. But under her guidance, the humans weathered it with minimal damage. During the storm, Nathan found himself in awe. The widow moved with precision and calm, her mind always calculating, always planning several steps ahead. Humans panicked, but she remained composed. Hale realized that she was not just strong or intelligent. She was extraordinary in a way that reshaped his understanding of the galaxy. After the storm, the outpost began to repair itself, and the humans who had doubted her now looked at her with admiration. What was intended to be punishment had become a revelation. The widow had not been weakened by human limitations. She had elevated them. Nathan observed this quietly, feeling a strange mixture of pride and anticipation. He began to wonder what the future could hold if she chose to stay. Yet there was tension beneath the surface. The alien council that had sentenced her would not be pleased if she thrived among humans. Nathan knew that danger was never far away. The galaxy was full of factions, each with its own ambitions and grudges. The widow's presence would attract attention, both good and bad. One evening, Nathan found her on the observation deck, gazing at the stars. "Do you ever miss your home?" he asked gently. She turned, her eyes reflecting distant lights. "My home is a memory," she said softly. "I was not free there. Here I am tested differently. Here I am, challenged." Her voice carried a weight of truth that Nathan could feel. "And I see potential in humans that even they may not recognize." Nathan nodded, understanding her words more than she might have expected. "We may be small, but we fight, we endure, we survive." She studied him for a long moment, then nodded once. "Then perhaps my punishment is less cruel than they imagined." As part one draws to a close, the sense of partnership is solidifying. Nathan and the widow stand side by side, watching the stars, aware that the galaxy beyond is vast and dangerous. But they have survived storms and attacks, learned from each other, and begun to build trust. Humanity, once insignificant, now has an ally whose skills and wisdom elevate them. And the widow, once a punishment meant to humiliate, may find a purpose she never anticipated, one that will challenge the galaxy's perception of both her and humanity. The future is uncertain, but for the first time the humans of Zareth feel ready to face it. And Nathan Hale knows that the widow is no longer a stranger, but perhaps the greatest treasure they have ever been given. The morning sun rose over the damaged outpost, painting the horizon with soft shades of orange and pink. Nathan Hale walked through the corridors, observing the crew as they repaired walls and machinery. The widow moved among them with quiet confidence, offering guidance and suggestions that were always effective. Her presence had transformed the outpost. Where there had once been hesitation and fear, there was now focus and determination. Nathan found her on the observation deck again. She was studying the stars, her expression thoughtful. "You know," he said, approaching, "the council that sent you here probably never expected you to become this." She turned, her eyes reflecting the nebulae. "I did not expect it myself," she admitted. "They believed humans were weak, that I would be bored, that I would fail. Instead, I am challenged, and I find value." Nathan smiled. "You've taught us more than you realize. You've shown us that intelligence, strategy, and courage aren't just tools. They're a way of seeing the world differently. We are stronger because of you." Her expression softened almost imperceptibly. Then perhaps their punishment was miscalculated. Days passed and the outpost became a center of both human and alien attention. News of the widow spread across nearby systems. Humans marveled at her skill, and even alien observers began to take note. What was meant to humiliate had turned into a source of pride for humanity. Nathan watched as the widow taught human engineers new methods, combining alien technology with human ingenuity. She trained the security team in advanced tactics, all while adapting to the unpredictability of human behavior. But with recognition came danger. A transmission arrived from a rogue faction, the same group that had attacked the outpost before. This time they brought overwhelming force. The message was clear. They wanted the widow and they would not negotiate. Nathan convened the crew. Their weapons were limited, their numbers small, but their resolve was strong. The widow studied the incoming data, her mind calculating, her calm unshaken. "We will not fight as humans fight," she said. "We will fight as humans and aliens together. We will use their assumptions against them." Nathan nodded, trusting her judgment. Over the next hours, they prepared. Energy nets were set, automated drones were programmed, and the outpost itself became a maze of defenses. The humans followed her lead, their confidence growing with each command she gave. When the rogue ships arrived, they expected easy prey. They did not anticipate a coordinated, unpredictable defense. The widow had anticipated their attack patterns, their weaknesses, and their assumptions. The humans executed her strategies flawlessly, supported by her sharp calculations. One by one, the enemy ships were disabled or forced to retreat. The outpost survived, stronger than before. After the battle, Nathan walked among the crew, noting their pride. Even the most skeptical soldiers had been impressed by the widow's strategy and foresight. The outpost had become a beacon of human capability, a place where humanity's resilience was evident to all. The widow stood with Nathan on the observation deck once more. She seemed quieter than usual, contemplative. "I have learned much from humans," she said. "I understand loyalty, courage, and adaptability in a way I did not before. You have exceeded expectations, not only your own, but those of the council that sent me." Nathan smiled, feeling a sense of satisfaction he had rarely known. "You've changed how we see ourselves. You've changed how others see us. You are no longer a punishment. You are our greatest treasure." Her eyes widened slightly, a hint of surprise in her expression. She had never considered herself in such a way, not as an asset, but as someone who could inspire growth and pride. She had always been valued for skill, for fear, or for authority. Recognition born from respect and admiration was new to her, and it felt right. As the weeks passed, the outpost thrived under their combined leadership. The widow became more than a strategist. She became a mentor, a symbol of hope and excellence. Humans began to explore new techniques, inventing devices that combined her alien knowledge with their creativity. Nathan worked closely with her, often late into the night, discussing plans, strategies, and possibilities. A quiet bond had formed between them, one built on trust, shared experience, and mutual respect. One evening, a young engineer approached Nathan with excitement. "Captain, the widow helped me design a new energy shield for the docking bay. It's stronger than anything we've had before." Nathan nodded, impressed. "Show me." The young engineer led him to the design board. Nathan saw the careful integration of alien and human technology, a testament to the widow's influence. "She's changed everything here," he said softly, almost to himself. The widow overheard him and tilted her head. Humans can achieve much when given guidance and opportunity. It is not their weakness that defines them, but their willingness to adapt. Nathan looked at her and felt a surge of admiration. She had become more than a warrior, more than an alien sentenced to punishment. She had become a partner, a leader, and a friend. Humanity, once underestimated, now had a champion. But the galaxy was never truly safe. Another alert came, this time from a distant system. An ancient alien faction known for its hostility toward humans was approaching. Their fleet was massive, their intentions unclear. Nathan realized that the challenges ahead would be greater than any they had faced. He found the widow in the strategy room, reviewing star charts. "We have new trouble," he said. "A fleet is approaching. They may not be friendly." She studied the data, her mind already calculating probabilities and potential outcomes. "Then we will prepare," she said simply. "We will defend ourselves, and humanity will prove its worth once again." Over the following days, the outpost became a hub of activity. Humans and the Widow worked tirelessly, creating defenses, training personnel, and coordinating resources. Nathan watched her closely, noting the way she motivated the crew. She did not command through fear or authority alone. She inspired them with intelligence, foresight, and quiet confidence. Even the most doubtful humans now respected her. When the alien fleet arrived, they expected easy conquest. They had underestimated both human ingenuity and the Widow's leadership. The battle was intense, but Nathan and the Widow had prepared every detail. Humans fought with courage, using strategies that combined their adaptability with alien technology. The Widow moved among them, coordinating attacks, predicting enemy maneuvers, and ensuring maximum efficiency. By the end of the battle, the enemy was forced to retreat. The outpost had survived again, and humanity's reputation had grown. Nathan stood among his crew, feeling pride swell in his chest. The Widow approached, her expression calm but thoughtful. "You have learned well," she said to the humans, "and I have learned from you. Strength is not measured by skill alone, but by courage, adaptability, and unity." Nathan looked at her, his respect and admiration evident. "You've given us more than strategy. You've shown us what we can be. You're no longer a punishment, not to us. You're our greatest treasure." For the first time, the Widow allowed herself a small smile. "Perhaps," she said softly, "perhaps this was the purpose I did not know I sought." Life at the outpost changed after that. Humans no longer feared failure or underestimated their capabilities. The Widow continued to teach, guide, and inspire, while Nathan ensured the outpost remained a stronghold of human potential. Together they had transformed a punishment into an opportunity, fear into admiration, and isolation into partnership. The stars above Zareth no longer seemed distant and cold. They were a reminder of possibility, of challenge, and of achievement. Humanity had survived, grown, and thrived, and the Widow had found a place where her talents were not a curse but a blessing. Nathan and the Widow stood together on the observation deck looking out at the galaxy. "We've come far," Nathan said quietly. She nodded. "And we will go further. Humanity is capable of greatness. I have seen it, and I will ensure it continues." As they watched the stars, a sense of hope settled over the outpost. The Widow, once sentenced as punishment, had become something far greater, a symbol of unity, courage, and the boundless potential of humanity. And for Nathan Hale, the human who had guided her arrival, she had become the greatest treasure he had ever known. The galaxy remained vast and unpredictable, full of challenges yet to come. But for the first time, humans at Zareth understood that with courage, intelligence, and partnership they could face anything. And with the Widow at their side, the impossible became possible. The stars continued to shine, endless and brilliant, as humanity's story, and the Widow's story, unfolded together. They were no longer mere survivors of the galaxy. They were its rising force, its unexpected champions, and a testament to what could happen when human resilience met alien brilliance.